Alright, taking off the locking mechanism. This is a 97 or 96 F250 with a 7.3. Right here I'm working on the lock ring that's on the hub assembly, on the outside of the hub assembly that holds the locker in. This is a Dana 50 twin I-beam. So I got that snap ring off. Now I'm using one of the screws to pull the hub out. The locking hub. Sometimes you can pull them out by hand. It's a little easier if you just take a screw. Now I'm using taking the snap ring off that's sitting on the CV shaft. So here there was a problem. I get the snap ring off, and I get the washers out. There's supposed to be 3 washers in there. Starting from the inside, there's a steel one, then a plastic one, then a splined one, and then your snap ring. It's missing the inner washer. I'm gonna have to get that. There's a kit you can buy that has all 3 of them. It was like $50 though. I'm gonna see if I can get one from a junkyard first. We can see I'm kind of looking at them. There's only 2 there. Alright, so now I'm going to take a locking nut off. This is the locking nut for the bearing. You can see here I'm going to be shaking my head in a second because I realized it was hand tight. And the problem with that is this locking nut is supposed to be torqued down to 150 or 160 to 200 foot-pounds. Shouldn't have been that easy to take off. So I got the locking nut off, then there's a washer in there, your locking washer. It has a groove on it for the CV that goes down the spindle, and then there's holes in it. And now on your inside nut, your preload nut, there's a little nub on there. One of those holes aligns with that nub. So what you do, if it doesn't line up, you flip the washer around the other way so it lines up properly. The driver's side didn't have that nub. It was kind of wore down a little bit, so I got another one for that. I'll probably be putting on here soon. So that was the locking ring. And I'll pull this off. I recommend getting a service manual to do this. Like, there's different procedures for locking this. Like when you do this nut here, when you're actually putting it all back together, you torque it down to like 50 or 60 foot-pounds as you're spinning the rotor. And then you back it off a quarter of a turn. And then you put your locking washer, and that locking washer holds that nut from moving. And then your locking nut is the one you torque down really high, so nothing moves in there. So, yeah, there was a couple things that were wrong when I did all this. And that, to me, was a big one. And the spacer missing. The shop did bearings on it before I bought this truck. It was like a Midas, so quality work. Alright, now we're good to pull the rotor off here. You can see it's having a little bit of trouble. I think the outer bearing was seized a little bit on the spindle shaft. Not too bad. I've seen people have more problems with it. I wasn't ripping it too hard. There's a few light taps to get it off. Other side would just slid right off. It wasn't too bad. Now I'm putting a towel around there so I don't get my impact dirty. I do recommend getting an impact if you can. I got the DeWalt one, but now here I'm removing the spindle, lightly tapping with the dead blow. But honestly, the best way here was I put the chisel in the one side and then tap it and kind of pry it off. That wasn't too bad. Now remove the CV axle. The inner one did not come out with it, and I found out there's a C-clip in the diff. So to pull the whole shaft out, you got to pull the whole diff out. So I was able to replace this one U-joint here. The other one I would have to do it inside the truck or pull the diff out.